Hey everybody, welcome back to the 5-Minute Family Workshop. Today we're going to be talking about the second ingredient in family worship. But first you got to see the intro. Let's put the clock up right here and let's get started. In the last episode of the 5-Minute Family Workshop, we talked about one ingredient of family worship. And we talked about how centralized the truths of God found in the scriptures must be to our family worship. Well, today we're going to be talking about a second ingredient to family worship. We're going to be talking about responding to God in song. Now, when we first consider what it means to worship, for most of us it means only singing. But I want to peel that back for a moment before we talk about what it means to sing unto God. And I want to peel it back by reading Psalm 96 to you. Psalm 96 is a famous verse that starts with, "Oh, sing to the Lord a new song." But just listen to the rest of it as we read. It says, "Oh, sing to the Lord a new song. Sing to the Lord all the earth. Sing to the Lord, bless his name. Tell of his salvation from day to day. Declare his glory among the nations, his marvelous works among all the peoples. For great is the Lord and greatly to be praised. He is to be feared above all gods. For all the gods of the peoples are worthless idols. But the Lord made the heavens. Splendor and majesty are before him. Strength and beauty are in his sanctuary. Ascribe to the Lord, O families of the peoples. Ascribe to the Lord glory and strength. Ascribe to the Lord the glory due his name. Bring an offering and come into his courts. Worship the Lord in the splendor of his holiness. Tremble before him all the earth. Say among the nations, the Lord reigns. Yes, the world is established, it shall never be moved. He will judge the peoples with equity. Let the heavens be glad, and let the earth rejoice. Let the sea roar and all that fills it. Let the field exult and everything in it. Then shall the trees of the forest sing for joy before the Lord, for he comes. For he comes to judge the earth, and he will judge the world with righteousness and the peoples in faithfulness." Now that psalm is a psalm all about worship. But what's so important about this psalm is that there are many expressions of worship. There is singing, and there is declaring the word of God and the glories of God. There is fearing the Lord. There is trembling before the Lord. There is going before the nations to share about their God. But all of it is in response to what God has done and what they have known about their God. It's in response to the truths of who God is. And so I want to frame our singing as a family with a definition for worship. Worship is an admiring response to the glory of God. It means that we are learning, as we learn the truths about who God is, then we respond in worship. And so when we talk about singing as a family, singing unto our God, we need to remember that it must be out of our admiration of the truths. As we admire the truths of God, then we can properly sing in worship. Now with that said, there are a lot of tips that I can give you in terms of worshiping as a family and singing as a family in particular. Now, my family, we're not great singers. I'm not a great singer. My wife, I love her, and she sings beautifully, but the rest of us can't sing. And so I want to say, like, we just are not a great singing family, but that's not the point. The point is that we admire God through our songs. And so what I have done is when we do our regular family worship, I have compiled a few songs that our family likes to sing, and I put them in a little booklet. You might call it a hymnal. That's what they would call it at church, but I leave it next to my Bible, and I have it available. These are songs that my family knows, that we like, and that we know that we can trust, that they are good doctrine, songs with good doctrine. And so I put that together specifically for my family so we would be ready and able to sing when it was time. But not only that, but we sing them often. We want our kids to be familiar with these songs. We want them to know these songs. And so we've even chosen at times a family hymn of the month. And we sing it every day trying to remember this hymn. And so it's a wonderful way to get our kids to be willing to sing, is to help them become familiar with the songs. But then thirdly, we play worship music in the home often. I mean, a lot. Every time that I come home, I hear coming out of the speaker some worship songs that my wife has turned on. And when I'm there, we worship. Sometimes a little more upbeat when I'm home to worship. But we worship and we have songs playing all the time. And then the last tip that I want to give you is I want to say, just encourage your kids to express their heart for God in worship. Encourage them to express it loudly. Encourage them to express it with emotion. And encourage them to express it as long as they're being respectful. Encourage them to express themselves through song. We want our kids to be able to do this because then they'll understand the truth of worship. That we need to admire our God through our songs.